Hi everybody, it's Kelly from Let's Get Clacking, and in today's video we're going to go over something that is very popular at the moment and has been requested quite a bit, and that is how to sublimate onto cotton. The most popular of these methods at the moment is using Easy Subli. Easy Subli is a heat transfer that you press onto your shirt and you can actually sublimate onto that material. And of course that means that it is extremely popular as you cannot sublimate onto cotton. So people use Easy Subli in order to be able to do those kinds of things, as cotton is obviously a very popular fabric. It's a nice soft fabric to work with, and like this t-shirt is a cotton t-shirt and this is just heat transfer vinyl. You wouldn't be able to sublimate onto this t-shirt for two reasons. Number one, it is black, and number two, it is cotton. And obviously sublimation inks only adhere to polyester materials and not to cotton. And of course, when it comes to darker materials, sublimation essentially dyes the fabric of the material. You cannot dye black fabric another color unless you're using bleach. And even then, the results aren't guaranteed. So I'm just going to be using different colors just to show you that you don't only have to use black. You can obviously use any color that you want. And I'm going to be showing you two different methods. The Easy Subli that I'm using, I bought from Snippy Sisters. They sell in packs of 10 A4, and they even have some of the recommended cut settings for your cameo. The two different methods that we will be covering today is one, print directly onto the Easy Subli, only available if you're using a Sawgrass printer. This unfortunately doesn't work with Epson, as you tend to get lines on your Easy Subli, which doesn't work. And the second method is to essentially use it as a film that you would sublimate onto. You would follow all of the normal sublimation rules. If you find this video useful, please give it a thumbs up and leave a comment to let me know what you're going to use Easy Subli for. I'm going to be starting with the design where we're going to be printing directly onto the Easy Subli, because I've done that already a few weeks ago and the design is dry and ready to be printed. So when we're printing directly onto the Easy Subli, we don't mirror the image. That's important, because when we pressing it directly onto the garment, there's going to be no flipping over. With this one I did print and cut. So I turned on the print and cut registration marks, did what I normally do. I increased the thickness of the lines and reduced the insets so that I can make the design as big as possible. So then I made it, like I said, as big as possible. And what I actually did with this one is I released the compound path so that I could adjust the elements a little bit, because they were a bit not right for me. As an example, that one's too far over to the one side. That one I could then also have centered, and I just group up each different element and then add them all together. Go to this panel and then center all of them so they would all be in the middle. So then I can actually make the design a tiny bit bigger. I know it doesn't really matter to have it a fraction bigger, but every little bit counts. And then I also I pushed those up a little bit. Oh, that one got left behind. So let's just add him back to where they should be. And then what I did was, obviously these elements are now all separate. So I actually went to the color fill panel and I changed the fill of the design. So like as an example, the top one, I did a fill, I think it was this fill. Oh, let's make that a compound path again, so that it just looks, there we go. And then these two, let's also make that a compound path. I did them in a lighter color. So I did these in this, and then the bottom one I did the same as that one. So you can just, let's just make that a compound path as well. And then I just did that like that. So it worked out quite nicely. What I then did, just to the middle one, because it's a bit of a lighter color, I actually added the outside lines. I changed them to be black. I made it about a 3-point. When I printed the design, I also added the print bleed. So essentially what that does is it prints around the edge a little bit more, so that when you print and cut, you don't have those tiny section where there's a little sliver of white, because I mean that happens sometimes. It doesn't always get it 100% correct. So you can add the print bleed on. And then I decreased it a little bit. So I thought that, just over 1 millimeter was quite big. So I think I made mine 0.08 of a radius, and that worked out quite well. And then what I did is you print this exactly like this. So you go to print. Okay, there you can see what the print bleed looks like. So it adds the bleed to every different item. You can see how much thicker that is as opposed to what it is there. And that's essentially, so when your silhouette cuts that, it'll then cut on the black line. You can take the black line off if you want, and then just have the normal print bleed like this one is, or you can have it like how I've done it. So we go to print, go to Sawgrass Print Manager, And then it's very important for this step to remember, don't mirror your page. You don't need to for when you're printing with Easy Subli. Then when you print with Easy Subli, now this side is a bit more of a rough side, and this side you can see by the reflection is quite shiny. So you need to put this side facing up, because when it pulls through the printer, it flips it over and prints on that side, and then it pushes it out with the image on the up. So you need to put it in face down. Then I'm not going to print this because I've already printed it a while ago and let it dry, because like I said, for me, this way I find tends to have slightly more problems, which is why I've kind of gone on to doing it the other way, where you cut the Easy Subli, you print it on the Sawgrass, just on normal sublimation paper. Some people even use normal paper. I haven't tried it yet, but to print it like that, and then to mirror the design so that you press the Easy Subli on and then you sublimate the Easy Subli. For me, that's a little bit more of a foolproof method, as I have had things go wrong the other way. So this is the design that I have. Now, what I'm going to do with this design, it's actually quite cute. It says hustle. What I've done is I've actually mirrored this design already. I created this myself. I went to the text tool and I just typed in hustle, chose my font, did exactly what I did with the fill panel, went to the fill panel, chose a fill for that one. Well, this one was actually a compound path, so the fill echoes throughout the whole design. Then I went to the offset panel, did a little bit of an offset, and I like to make the offset white just so that I can see what it'll look like when I put it onto Easy Subli, because I like having that slight offset with the Easy Subli. I find it works a little bit better for me. But what you can do, again, if you don't want that kind of a look, is you can, let's ungroup these. Let's put that on the side. And then again, you can do exactly what we did with the other one, where you can actually do the print bleed. So when you print and cut, you'll know that it will print with the correct design. So if we print again now, so I can show you the print preview, you can see how it kind of extends the design a little bit. If we zoom in, obviously the quality looks awful, but you can see here how it takes the last pixel and it pushes the last pixel out a little bit more. So if you didn't want to have that white design, then you could just do that. But what I'm going to do in this tutorial, I kind of like having the white outline. So what I did to test the design to see if I liked what it looked like, because it's going to be going on a black hoodie, was I made the box black. Let's just flip it horizontally again. Again, let's push the box to the back. I put it on the box like that, and you can see what it'll look like on your t-shirt or your hoodie or whatever it is. So you can get a feel for it, and you can decide if you like it. Maybe if you want to make the offset a little bit bigger, it's completely up to you. But I kind of like the way that looks, so I'm going to leave it like that. So I'm going to flip this horizontally, because what I'm doing with this one is I'm printing this one through the Sawgrass, so it'll be printed and cut on the Sawgrass. I'll then just cut the offset outline out of the Easy Subli, and then we'll sublimate it on together. So let's print this, and then we'll set up the Easy Subli cut. So it's opened in Sawgrass Print Manager. Now again, important to remember to not mirror this one. I've already manually mirrored it, and we need the registration marks to work correctly. So we'll just print it like this. Then for the Easy Subli section, what we'll do is we will ungroup these, and then just take the back section. I normally copy it over to a new document and put it on that one, and then I'll put it right at the top right in the corner and flip horizontally, because the Easy Subli is a face up material. So what you'll do with the Easy Subli is you will always have it exactly as it should be going onto the shirt, and you flip the sublimation part onto it. So that one has to be correct, and the printed part will not be. I normally just do it like this, and another reason why I normally put it right in the top left-hand corner, if I have something small that I want to use Easy Subli for, then I tend to keep the rest of it, because Easy Subli is quite pricey. You know, I've done these things for clients before, and there's a lot of Easy Subli around the edges. And if I have a small design that I want to use, instead of using an entire new page, I can use a page that I've already used for a different project, and I can just use that small block. So I don't have to worry about you know, wasting an entire page just for that. It is quite pricey at, you know, 30 odd rand a sheet, so you definitely want to try and conserve it as much as you possibly can. Typically I'll use those for myself, or if I mess up an order and I just need a small little part of that, then I'll use that section for myself or for correction, essentially. So I'll send them both to cut in the Cameo, print and cut, and then just a normal cut, and we will be joined again at the heat press. While the heat press is warming up, we're going to get started with the next section. So we've obviously got our 3 elements. So this one was printed directly onto the Easy Subli, print and cut, and then I weeded the excess away. And we have our design that we're going to lift off and place onto the t-shirt. Then we have the Hustle design, which is printed onto our sublimation paper, reversed, so it'll be that way, as you can see. And then it's cut, the Easy Subli has been cut, you can see there, and we'll pull the Easy Subli off, press it onto the garment, put that over it, and then sublimate it onto that like that. So this is going to be one section, and this one is the one that we're going to essentially be testing. Now this stuff is essentially transfer paper, but it can withstand the heat. So what our theory is that if you apply this onto your Easy Subli, like this, okay, you can lift off the Easy Subli and put it exactly on the t-shirt just like this without having any issues of, you know, removing the text and whatnot. So I've got my scraper and I'm just going to make sure that it's all scraped on. And then we're going to flip it over and weed the back part off the mask. I mean, you do get an Easy Subli transfer mask, but from Caesar, but it's, from what I understand, it's quite pricey, and the stuff is much cheaper. So it's a better solution, or potentially a better solution, because this is not sticking as lacquer. Okay, that's good enough. That's good enough. Might just need to do it quite slowly. Okay. So, ironically, that was kind of a horrible idea. But it was worth a try. So let's just put all these pieces back into place. Let's see if we can salvage this. Okay, so what I'm going to first do is I'm first going to press the t-shirt, and then we're going to see if we can press this onto the t-shirt without any stuff-ups. So again, it wasn't recording, so I'm just going to reenact what I did. What I did was to fold up the t-shirt. I placed the design on their top, folded up the t-shirt like this, like that, placed the t-shirt onto the Easy Subli, let it go down, opened it up, press the t-shirt. Okay, then you turn it over, press the t-shirt again for a few seconds, then peeled off the design, and you can see how much of the sublimation ink has actually gone into the paper, the transfer paper. So either the transfer paper is slightly polyester or something like that, or the ink wasn't actually dry properly, which is what I think happened. But you can see here it turned out all right. It's nowhere near what I wanted it to be, but it looks pretty decent. Of course there's a hair in there. You might well be able to tell there's a little bit of a discoloration on the pressed area versus the non-pressed area. Now, this is a Pick and Pay t-shirt, so the t-shirt costs $50. You can see there it's duller than that. So obviously it's not the best quality t-shirt, so of course it's not going to have the best longevity when it comes to these things. That's why I generally suggest, you know, using a better quality t-shirt. The next one that we're going to do is our hustle. Let's pre-press the hoodie. Just helps remove moisture from the hoodie, especially at the moment it's a little bit wet and wintry, so that helps. Just a nice way to know where to read. Now that's all readed, we can now take it off the sheet easily and gently. Then we go back to the heat press. But what I like to do with these kinds of things, obviously because this is going to be a hoodie that I'm going to be wearing, so I like to kind of fake put it on myself and see where I want the words. So I want them quite high up so that they read nicely. So I want them here. Okay, so then I will even do that, place it onto the heat press like that, and then I'll make sure that they're, you know, in the center and whatnot, just so that I can get the height right. It's about a hand print from the top, so okay, I'm fine with that. Now what I do is I like to press it in half. Okay, so now we have a seam down the middle, as you can see, and we can use that to guide where we place our easy Subli. Now obviously this is easy because it's even easier because it's all in one bit. So we can fold it in half. Now we've got the easy Subli placed, we just press it for a few seconds. Okay, so that was 5 seconds. Now you can wait for it to cool down a little bit, because now what I like to do is take my time in placing this section, because obviously we need to make sure that it lines up pretty much exactly. For this section, I always use heat tape, because we need to make sure that we're getting it, that it's not going to move. And I don't like putting heat tape over it, because heat tape obviously restricts the heat, which means that it may stop the sublimation ink from transferring properly. So try and put it on the edges as much as possible where the white sections are. Now you will notice that the challenge with this method is that the easy Subli has probably, especially when it comes to designs like this, it's probably stretched a little bit. So it may not line up 100%, which is kind of why we do the offset, so that it doesn't look terrible. I'm happy with that, so we're going to close the press, let it sublimate on 90 seconds at 190 degrees, and we'll take it off and see what the result is. Okay, now we can quickly peel off the paper. Boom, boom, boom. Hustle, hustle, hustle. That looks divine. I'm obsessed. It's almost perfect. Well, thanks so much for watching this video, everybody. I really hope that you learned something and that you get to use Easy Subli for all kinds of designs, as it is such a versatile product. You can subscribe to my channel on this side. On this side, YouTube will show you my latest video, and just below that, something that they think that you'll enjoy. Until next time, everybody, be kind to someone. See you soon.